I think the most important thing is that Colombia today is really probably the darling of investors in Latin America. And the country has a very pro foreign direct investment environment, balanced but very favorable. Investors understand the rules of the game. President Santos has been very clear in establishing the rules of the game. And now, with the free trade agreement, which is going to facilitate trade with the United States, and with the Pacific trade agreement, this is making Colombia even more attractive. So as I look at Colombia, you're looking at a country that will probably grow between 4 and 6% this year, which will put it at one of the 2 or 3 countries with the highest growth rate in Latin America. It's the only country that has a port on both the Pacific and the Atlantic side. It will benefit enormously as well from the enlargement of the Panama Canal when that finishes. We see enormous opportunity for Colombia. Now, what are some of the challenges? Clearly, one of the challenges is infrastructure. Colombia needs to invest much more in infrastructure, and President Santos clearly knows that and is committing more public sector funds to infrastructure. But I think also the private sector is going to step in and finance some of the infrastructure through public-private partnerships directly, because infrastructure, to get investors to invest in infrastructure, you need an environment where investors can count on the long term, because infrastructure investment is a long-term project. And the other thing is taking Colombians out of poverty and making sure that the 5 million Colombians that are still below the poverty line are lifted up, and that there's an enormous amount of social inclusion in the country, so everybody feels the growth and the future and the opportunity. I think Colombia going to the G20 is just fabulous, and I think it is a real testament to the kinds of economic policies and the way the world looks at Colombia today. It's an open economy. It is anti-protectionist, which is super important because there's a lot of protectionist sentiment given the slowdown in the global economic environment. And so he comes with an open mind, believes in open markets, believes that tariffs should be reduced, not increased. And so I think it's an opportunity for Colombia, but it's also recognition of the kinds of policies that President Santos and Colombia have implemented, the kinds of economic and social policies. Colombia reminds me a lot of Chile 10 years ago, but Colombia is going to get to where Chile was, or 15 years ago. Colombia is going to get to where Chile is in less than half the time. So the fact that they want to ascend to the OECD is no surprise. It's great news, and it will give them a framework for raising per capita income and really becoming a middle-income country. Colombia has a port on the Atlantic and has a port on the Pacific, and therefore that gives, in my opinion, Colombia an enormous competitive advantage when reaching out to Asia. So I think the opportunity to do more trade and investment and to look east to Asia is an enormous opportunity. So now Colombia will look east, it will look north, it will look south, and this all means more exports, more growth, more investment.